Good morning, this is Jack from Charts in the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 30th of September. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right, this is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Right, this is the last day of the month, of course, and historical stats lean bearish. How are the possible head and shoulder patterns from yesterday looking? Just fine. What we're missing is the last step down to break down. Now, if they do break down, of course, they may just reject it back up into the highs. So far, it's a little down, about, four handles, been as low as about 15, I think. So we'll see how that goes today. But, historically it leans bearish, but tomorrow it leans bullish, and Friday it leans fairly strongly bullish. So I'm not really expecting these head and shoulders to break down and make target, but if we get the right news, maybe. Who can say? I would say that we've got a perfect channel here at the moment. Don't know how seriously to take it, but if we do see it break down, I'd be wondering about seeing some support here currently in about the 65.50 area. All right, NQ, decent looking head and shoulders. Kind of heavily upsloping, and I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the high next, but could be. RTY, pretty decent looking head and shoulders. YM, pretty decent looking head and shoulders. But where this is the last day of the window that I was talking about 2 weeks ago. So we'll see whether it's got the juice to do it. YM's just retested the weekly pivot twice and it's holding. We will see. Looking at DAX, we've broken up from a falling wedge and we've got a possible double bottom here. On ESTX, we've got a possible rising megaphone here, and if it is a rising megaphone, then the next obvious move would be up towards this target here. So we'll see how that goes too. All right, looking at the bigger picture charts. Looking at the ES charts, if we retest the high, we will get possible daily sell signals brewing on ES, SPX, and the Qs. We would get a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the Qs as well, but not on the others. In terms of Dia, that's just because Qs didn't actually go down as far as the others. At the moment, the others all holding the daily middle bands. As I was posting on Friday, the minimum of what I would expect for a modest retracement has already been done. We've already got RSI 14 sell signals fixed on Dia and IWM, but for a more immediate action, I really much prefer the RSI 5 sell signals, and there's only one of those would be on the cards to get if we do get high retests. In terms of the shorter term charts, could this be head and shoulders? Yep. So looks okay on Qs as well, although we almost made it back up to the retest of the high yesterday, and this isn't a great quality head and shoulders because it would be, if the right left shoulder high was up here, it would be a lot better, but really this looks as though it's just waiting to go back and retest the high. Dia, pretty decent looking little head and shoulders. If we have a look at IWM, IWM, we've got pretty decent looking head and shoulders as well. We will see how that goes. But on the daily chart, obviously 3 of these tested the daily middle bands. They've come up directly from them. NQ didn't, but then it hasn't got a huge history of testing the daily middle band. Dia and SPX equally, quite often we go down, we touch the daily middle band, it holds the support, and we go up directly from there. And at the moment, we may well be doing that. Looking at DAX, DAX is back over the daily middle band. And if we see a further break up, I'd be wondering about a retest of this high here at 24.6k. Nikkei is retracing. We're on an RSI 5 sell signal here, and we're on a less important RSI 14 sell signal. But the RSI 5s, how many of these we've got here? That one made target 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eventually, but we went up quite a bit first. And 6 all made target. This one may well make target too, and it is retracing. This was it reached the wedge resistance that I was looking at, and the obvious corresponding area to get to is the wedge support, which I've currently got in about the 4,300 and 43,650 area, I think. All right, great. Let's have a look at DX, where we had a buy signal, weaker buy signal fix yesterday, and we've gone a little lower. This makes it a better looking bull flag. And I'm thinking this may well be a bull flag forming here. But there are alternatives. We could have a head and shoulders here. So I'll just draw in that little line. So it could be that we're going to reject the buy signal and go a bit lower. That wouldn't astonish me. But I think mainly I'm leaning towards the upside. I mean, the picture on the other currency pairs is a bit ambiguous. USD, this could be a bull flag breaking up, but equally this could be a head and shoulders forming. GBP USD, again, this could be a head and shoulders forming, although rather oversized actually in this instance. USD JPY, leaning towards a bull flag. USD CAD, leaning towards a bull flag. Nothing really compelling in the way of signals here at the moment. This could be a bull flag breaking up, but of course we've got a head and shoulders broken down here, and we'd need to get back over about the 66.3 area, which it's getting pretty close to fail this head and shoulders and set up a target at a retest of that high. Not a bull flag by any means on the NZ. We have seen a break up over a clear resistance trend line, waiting to see how that goes. But at the moment, the currency pairs are all looking a bit ambiguous. Right, ZB, I've been looking at this. We obviously made the minimum double top target at this level here, and we've got a double bottom here, and it's trying to break up. It's got a target in about the 117.27 to 118.03 area, and we will see how that develops. But I'm thinking we might go back into a retest of the high here. On ZN, this could be a bull flag wedge, and it is breaking up and waiting to see where that goes. All right, looking at CL, obviously we had a break over the range last week. It rejected, and it's rejected hard. We've come down $4.50 since that happened. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fix. We've actually gone down quite a bit since that fix, so that could fail. We could be heading straight back to the bottom of the range, and it could be this is a precursor to it breaking down back into the 50s. So watching this with very great interest. HO, we've got this nice looking megaphone. That was a bearish overthrow. Next obvious target would be the megaphone support in the 2.29 area, and generally speaking, I would expect that to break. So we'll see how that goes. We've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed here, but again, it's been lower since that fixed. RBOB, 60-minute buy signal fixed as well. We've got a double top here, but this is the support here. This wasn't it. I just drew that in as a potential level, which obviously broke, back tested. So, I'm still watching that level, but this isn't a pattern support. In terms of NG, we had a nice looking bear flag forming, but you can see we're breaking up from it. That leaves us with a potential double bottom here, and I am saying seasonally, of course, we may see this go up $1 or more. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Now, GC. This is actually a pretty nice looking rising wedge, so I'm watching this with great interest. Now, if it is a wedge, next obvious target would be down at the weekly pivot, because that's where the support trend line is, and of course this may break down and retrace soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see that retrace, although the main target I'm looking at above is the retest of the all-time high on silver, and I think we're going to see that fairly soon, but it doesn't mean we can't do a bit of a retrace first. Obviously, it says this has not been slow to the upside, and every so often you would expect to see a retracement. What I would say is we've got a 6-minute sell signal here, and that's already made target. We had a tiny little level top here, and that's making target too. Doesn't necessarily need to go down anymore, but I'm watching this rising wedge on GC with great interest. On Palladium, nice little rejection here. I talk about support at the monthly pivot, but this is the last day for the monthly pivot. We will have all new ones tomorrow morning. On Platinum, sell signal made target, sharp retrace, half of which is recovered already. HG, I was looking for a retest of this high to set up the possible second high of a double top. We haven't actually quite retested the high, but we're getting pretty close. But I am thinking when we get this, it could take us back down into the lows here, the retest this low here at 4.38. This, I have to say, has been very, very boring to watch for a couple of months now. So I think if we actually go down and make that flag target, then this might start to get more interesting. Right, let's have a look at KC. KC, we've got a 60-minute buy signal, which has reached the possible near miss target. We've got an IHS here, which broke up and immediately fell. I'm leaning towards this coming back and retesting this low. But that really basically, this was a nice looking little IHS that broke up and failed pretty much immediately. SB, we've got an IHS here, but of course we've got two patterns here because we've got a possible falling wedge as well. And what it's done so far is it's come up to wedge resistance, it's holding it. We've got a potential little level top here. We could see a reversal back down towards. Actually, this is an IHS, of course, not a double bottom, but we could see a reversal back down towards the lows. But only get confirmation of that when we see a breakdown below this right shoulder low in the 15.95 area. But at the moment, it's come up exactly to wedge resistance and it's holding it. If that continues to hold, then a retest of the low would be the next obvious target. CC continuing a little lower here. We had a nice looking, decent looking double bottom already. And would it surprise me to see this go lower? No, but we do have a nice looking falling wedge here. So I'm watching that with interest. And the next obvious target within the falling wedge would actually be this resistance trend line here up in about the 71.60 area. Looking at CT, we have gone lower. Not astonished so far, although I'd love to see this start a move up. Lumber, we've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target in about the 624 to 628 area, and that is thinking about it, but we quite often see this little bull flag form after a pattern like this breaks up. I'm still thinking this might make target, but of course the buy signal is already gone. On ZW, nice looking double bottom and wondering if this might break up. Corn looks like a little bull flag forming at the moment. If so, we'd probably see a little lower low, possibly make this double top target in the 412.5 area. On soy, we are still holding this nice looking megaphone support. Bigger picture, I think we've got unfinished business to the downside, but that doesn't mean we can't go up first. On ZL, wondering about a retest of this low. Buy signal made the possible near miss target. LE, we've got a pretty decent looking flag here with a lovely support trend line. So I'm leaning towards it heading back to flag resistance, and if this is triangle resistance, and if this is a triangle, then it's likely to be a bullish triangle setting up a retest of this high. On lean hogs, we've got very nice looking megaphone, another touch of the megaphone resistance. If this isn't going to break up, which I think is a possibility because we didn't test the megaphone support before we went back and tested resistance, but we could break up from this. But if not, then the obvious next target would be this megaphone support in currently about the 86.7 area. 85.7 to 85.75 area. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions. Could a top in metals be in? Major top? I think silver's got further up to go. Short-term high, yes, this could be a short-term high in metals. I have been wondering aloud about a possible retracement coming, and this is quite strong encouragement as long as it holds. And this is suggesting that we might see maybe a 38.2 or a 50% retracement here before it probably continues going up. So we shall see how that goes. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, at which point I should have all new monthly pivots.